wanted to start off sharing a statement about this project and the movement taking place in our community. I would like to thank each and every person who has showed up today, all of the leaders and organizations who have been working tirelessly to raise awareness about this and all the numerous issues affecting our community. With regard to the TMT, I want to say first, Trustee Apple, that I agree with you 100%. The magnitude of this issue is immense, and there is great potential, and the stakes are very high. The only point I was trying to make last week is that in order for us to maximize this opportunity, I feel we need to take a strong stance and need to do it quickly. I've also heard that those of us who have come out in support of the protectors may be clouded by emotion. So I would like to run through some facts in order to take the emotion out of the equation. First, 3 state audits of the University of Hawaii's management of Mauna Kea: 1998, 2005, and 2014. In 1998, among numerous other failings, the auditor found that the University of Hawaii management of the Mauna Kea Science Reserve was inadequate to ensure that natural resources are protected. In 2005, the auditor stated that the university still had critical management issues, such as unresolved public access control, weak permit monitoring, and indeterminate management plans that hampered the university's efforts to protect Mauna Kea's resources. And that audit also mentioned the LNR, who as the landowner, did not provide a mechanism to ensure compliance with lease and permit requirements. In 2014, last year, the auditor found that through fiscal years 2009 to 2013, the Office of Mauna Kea Management collected almost $2 million in unauthorized fees from commercial tour operators. The auditor even stated that the office may be required to return those unauthorized fees to the tour operators. Audits covering a span of 16 years, all highlighting severe mismanagement by UH and DLNR, let alone the fact that the land is leased at $1 per year. They are derelict, and these are the facts. This is not about science. We need to make the UH and DLNR accountable to our community. Their voices have been ignored or brushed aside all these years. And I know Thompson was quoted in 1999 while he was a regent as saying, "This is really about abuse of the native people being subject to racism and disrespect." This is from 16 years ago. Why are the same people still fighting the same fight? Now I would like to speak from an aisle. Every side is pointing in the right direction. It's like a cosmic dance around me. We have numerous stories throughout our history of Ali'i who have made monumental impacts of change because they were leaders that stood with their people. Come to mind. The people have come to stand with us. This is our opportunity to do change with them, side by side. This very table where we preach over and over the need to empower our community, to reach self-determination, to make greater impacts in our community, and not vote to take a stand with our people. Self-determination is right at our fingertips. We have the opportunity to send a strong message that is no longer business as usual for Hawaiians. Senator Long has said it the best at this table. She pointed out that what you see happening is the fruit of OHA's labors. All of the money spent on education, support for programs, it has manifested in this movement. I have only been here for 3 years, but for all you trustees who have been here for extensive spans, you deserve the applause. And for helping plant the seeds that have sprouted into what you have seen today. You should all be proud to stand with them, and I hope we all do. Facts are on our side, and we need to stand with our people. Nothing further should be permitted on the Mauna, at the very least until a decommission plan is implemented, funded, and enforced. Therefore, as chair of the meeting today, I cannot make a motion myself, but I hope this board can take a strong position to assure long-standing issues are resolved. And yes, Trustee Hulu Lizzie had her hand up. So if you would like to make a motion.
And she asked that we read this statement. The University of Hawaii was entrusted with Mauna Kea in 1968, being given a 65-year lease from the Hawaii Department of Land and Natural Resources. Over 17 years ago, in 1998, the Hawaii Legislative Auditor submitted a meticulous analysis of the University of Hawaii's abysmal performance over the prior 20 years. In 2005, a follow-up analysis was done, which was no less troubling. The most recent audit was last year, showing improvement, but continued failures. Taken together, these three independent reviews document a continued breach of the university's fundamental trust and responsibility for over 45 years. There is wide agreement regarding the importance of protecting Hawaii's unique cultural and environmental resources. Discussion and debate on the balance between preservation and development require an informed and objective analysis as that provided by the legislative auditor. Our state university must honor its commitments. The same must be said of the Department of Land and Natural Resources. Present leadership can no longer remain complacent and blame their predecessors. Knowing the value in every sense of Mauna Kea, not to just the first people of Hawaii, but to the world, how can they and how can we allow the abuse and neglect to continue? I support the protesters peacefully impeding further construction on Mauna Kea, while the auditor's recommendations are resolved and complied with. To ignore these transgressions is untenable. We stand together as one. We are Hawaii. Hawaii is Mauna Kea. Oni pa'a ke kaupiki. That being said, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to move that we rescind and oppose the selection of Second, Mr. Chairman, I second. On Mauna Kea, Hawaii as the site for the proposed 30-meter telescope project. Second.
Please, the trustees need this opportunity to discuss. So we indulge to allow the trustees this time. It's very serious.
It's been moved by Trustee Hulu Lindsay and seconded by
Trustee O'Connor.
It has been seconded by both Trustee Hulu and Trustee O'Connor.
I would like to offer an amendment.
This amendment needs to get a second.
I would move to amend to rescind the trustees' 2009 decision to support the TMT.
I second that motion.
Okay. It's been moved by trustee Apple and seconded by trustee Machado. I'm gonna call for the vote right now. Discussion? Yeah. Discussion.
While I know the sentiment is overwhelming to oppose, I prefer to try to use a scalpel to engage the stakeholders. It is about more than the telescope. This is about the management of the entire mountain. This is an opportunity for us to step back, go back to square one, and begin to do things, for instance, calling for a deconstruction schedule with a timeline, calling for an ESPN review, calling for a review of the Mauna Kea Comprehensive Management Plan, calling for direct Hawaiian access to the telescopes that are already there, or some of them, Hawaiian access, requiring cultural training, a full disclosure of the financial model. There's a whole range of moves and things that we can do to help completely change the way the mountain is managed, the way it's looked at, the way people, to go to Mauna Kea, you gotta go through training. So why not for Mauna Kea? If we oppose, if we oppose the thing, I think we're gonna take ourselves out of the field of play, and I think that would be a mistake. That's
This is the trustees' time. Okay, so respect the trustees. It's a very serious matter, so we need your full.
Thank you, everybody. Trustee Akana.
Yes, I'm not understanding the rationale, because to rescind our previous position allows us to do all those things anyway. So that's why I would vote against the second motion. I think to rescind our position is where we need to be, so that we open up the scope again and go at it from a different perspective. So that's where I am. So I would not support the second motion.
My second was based on the inclusion in the motion to insert the 2009 resolution that we passed at the table. That's his only suggestion, is to insert the 2009 resolution. Okay, I mean,
Hang on. Trustee Pirapo.
Well, I think
Trustee Pirapo.
it'll need.
Hang on. Trustee Pirapo, do you have something to say?
if you're going to oppose the TMT, you don't need the word rescind. I mean, it's not only redundant, it means something completely different.
Okay. Trustee Akana.
Yeah, I think that what Trustee Machado is talking about is something different, because if you rescind, then it becomes moot anyway. Anything that we did was moot, so everything becomes moot. And you start, zero.
I'd like to call on Jocelyn Dong.
Just for some clarification, so the current board's position, as of 2009, the Board of Trustees' position is to support the siting of the TMT telescope on Mauna Kea. The resolution, Trustee Machado, that you're referring to, actually never got out of the committee. So the only thing that we're addressing right now is the position to support the siting. If I understand Trustee Lindsay's motion correctly, she is asking that we both rescind and oppose it, which is available. Trustee Oppose's request for an amendment to the motion is to just rescind and not oppose.
Let's go.
Trustee Machado, do you have something to say?
No, that's only clarification.
Okay, I'd like to call on Trustee
But I want to
Akana.
go on record so you folks know I will support only the rescind and not the opposing. So when the vote comes down, as long as you folks understand that I'm gonna vote to rescind, not to oppose.
Let's clarify for both.
We're gonna get clarification from both councils.
Jocelyn said it's correct. So we have in front of you, it's not two motions. You have one motion made by trustee Lindsay to combine rescind and oppose. Then there was a motion to amend that motion to just say to rescind. That was seconded, it's being discussed now. So the first order of business is to vote on the seconded motion, which is an amendment to just say rescind. So what you have in front of you is an amendment to rescind the motion, and that needs to be voted on when discussion is finished. If that motion to amend passes, then you voted to rescind. Right.
I didn't hear, yeah, I thought I heard her say to rescind. I didn't hear her say rescind and oppose. Yeah, and then you said, you wanted to amend to rescind to oppose the TMT. Repeat your motion, so we don't get all confused here.
The motion was for trustee to rescind its 2009 decision to support TMT.
That was your amended.
Once again, he made a motion to amend the motion which contained both options, rescind and oppose. That's correct. That's the motion. The amendment was just to rescind. That had a second. We're discussing it now. You have to vote. If you vote on it, it just means your position is to amend. Or to rescind. Because the amendment passed.
And then you vote.
Trustees, are we ready for this?
I wanted to say something, but
Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
I give up my second, so Trustee Alcana can have the second. Everybody knows where I stand anyway. Okay, I want to read the border regions, because not all the border regions, we keep saying, UH, all the regions. Chuck G is a region. I think his time is up this year. One of the most important sections of the EIS, Environmental Impact Statement, is the Cultural Impact Assessment, which is better. CIA, Cultural Impact Assessment. With the recent heightened media coverage, members of the public were combining the EIS and the CIA. As Kavika Villa commented recently on a column posted, they attempted to contact 60 people. Of the 60, 39 of the 39 responses, 4 were in support, the rest were opposed. 60 people represented the thoughts and beliefs of the Native Hawaiians that they contacted that day. After hearing many Manoa students testify in opposition to the project, Chuck G. He says he's a strong advocate for the students, pointed out that testimony that day was 4-1 in opposition to the lease. The minutes also captured Regent Jeffrey Portnoy's comments on testimony. Jeffrey Portnoy, he's the attorney. They felt rightfully wrong that they had not been included in the outreach programs. He continued, there is a lesson that can be learned that there may be island-located matters that are really statewide matters and significant, particularly Mauna Kea. It's on an island, but the relationship is to the whole Hawaiian community, regardless of they live on the Big Island, if they're students at UH Manoa on Oahu. In the future, Portnoy continued, when an issue like this can be anticipated, a larger effort can be made to engage more than just where the issue is domiciled. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, yes, discussion, Mr. Chairman. I did not hear the opposed section, and I want to reconsider this. The reason I think that the amendment is important is because, as Peter says, when we rescind our approval to place that TMT, what it's going to do is send a very strong message to the legislature, to the university, and to the governor that the Office of Hawaiian Affairs is going to stand with our people. But we will also say that we now will be able to sit at the table, and we're gonna make sure that they do everything that they say they're gonna do, and we're gonna stand in the way. So I will support.
Trustee Abulio.
As I said earlier, when we talked about the 2009 decision of the action of the seeker, it was very clear that at any time in 2009, it was important for Hawaii to have that opportunity to separate from the issues and discussion of our student group. 2009 has come forward to the present time. I believe, well, there are things, other things that I'm listening and thinking, and some people have mentioned already. We're talking about Mauna Kea. We gotta talk on the top to the bottom of the ocean. That's what we should talk about. That's what we should be focusing on and challenging. We also gotta be talking about the issues that were brought in there. Law, as an example. The military. It's all connected. Then we should talk about Haleakala. It's all connected. So what I think I hear Peter saying is the motion to rescind allows us, will clearly say to the community, we're on the radar screen. We're on the radar screen. The voices have been heard. The voices have been heard and we're listening. We who have to make such decisions, we who have the systems in place, public, private, for us to make the changes, maneuver those changes on behalf of who? Hopefully our Native Hawaiian interests. That's what I see on Trustee Apo's effort to move this discussion in this way. We were talking about that's what we're talking about, people, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just this chasm. It's not just this binocular look. And yes, it's very important. The work that the Kiali have been doing on the mountain, Pololei. We need to all be standing in many places together. And we all have different puliana we have to stand with, or stand for, or deal with. These are the decisions that get made. These decisions at the table, the decisions in the community, they're all related, they're all linked. If we are trying to move in a way that's going to be a greater good for our community, in total. That's what this action to rescind can mean, I believe. Thank you.
Trustee Machado.
With this action, if this motion passes, it will serve as notice to the governor of the state of Hawaii, the Board of Land and Natural Resources, and the University Board of Nations. It's telling them you continue to operate without administrative rules, okay, that you've been functioning up there to manage over the mountain without administrative rules. So that's one fault that has to be addressed. There's also another round of EISs need to be attended to. And this is where the kind of gathering that all of you have shown to raise that hard work to OEQC. But this is a notice. If OHA says it's rescinding its original position to rescind, and now we can go after the governor, and we can go after the Board of Land and Natural Resources. So we come on you, we carry you on our shoulders for that purpose. If we oppose, they're going to look at us and say, okay, which guys on the side hate us? So I urge the I'm just telling you what the politics are. You may disagree or not, but that's how the politics are in this. You know, we're Hawaiians and we struggle all the time with the letters and we struggle with the political policy we're talking about. I'm just stating the facts. But with internal direction with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. We have competent staff, and we can bird dog this so that we will all be part of a safe playing field. But this will be a notification to the governor and the landlord and the new directors, Suzanne Case to Maka'ala. They have no rules to operate, and they continue to be given that authority. You heard today with the passing of the 65-year lease, it's going to end up 110 years that they're going to have control. Those are key areas that needs to be addressed. Who better than to be your bulldog at the BNR table and at the governor? It's OHA. This is how we can work together. And this is how you bring up a true and transparent. Believe me, that's how the politics are created.
Thank you, Trustee Machado. Trustee Akana.
Yes.
Trustee Akana.
I'm going to stand because I think that maybe we're not articulating exactly what you want to hear, but I tell you, as one of you, I give you my word. When I vote with this motion, I will stand with you. I will go to the university. I will stand against the governor and anybody else for you. I promise you this. I promise you. We are for you. We are standing for you.
The evolution of the people, the evolution of how we position ourselves in the world, whether we are Hawaiians, Japanese, Filipino, is a matter of circumstance and opportunity. We will never have another opportunity to revisit and redo the complete 1.8 million acres of the public land trust. This is the window, because we have something they want. I cannot tell you what it's like to go around trying to get support for Hawaiians these days. The community memory of the 70s is gone.
We get ready
If you go to the legislature, if you go down to the average Safeway, if you go to most places in Hawaii, people don't even know what you're talking about. Right? So try to position ourselves in a negotiating position so that we can really redo the state's trust responsibility to Native Hawaiians to the nth degree. This is the time. This is the moment. And that's all I'm saying. I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot tell you whether it will work. But if we leave the field of play, we're done.
Thank you, Trustee Apo. Trustee Hululenzi.
Aloha mai kākou. My na'au is where my motion was. I can see that I do not have the votes today. I think it is better for us to rescind the position of 4 years ago and stand behind all of you and move our Maui forward. So work with us so that we can do that. I cannot tell you the love that we have in different ways. You know, whenever we go to the different islands, we always say we bring the love of our colleagues, the trustees of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. We all feel differently, but one thing that's seen is the love within us for our Maui. So I can only say that maybe there'll be a time that the board will have to stand in a stronger position. But for now, let us do this so that we can stand behind you. And you are welcome to come into our hall here anytime, ask whatever you need. And I know the trustees are open to that. So bear with us. We take one step at a time. I'd like to call to the vote.
Is there any other discussion on this board table? Is there any other discussion on this board table? Okay, we're first voting on the amendment, and then after we vote on the amendment, if it passes, we're going to still have to vote on the motion that we will, the motion has been sorry.
Chair, would you like me to read it before you?
Yes, yes, sir.
Before the Board of Trustees, we will be, the motion is to amend. To move that the Board of Trustees amend the motion to include rescind its support. And that is the support of the 2009.
Read the whole thing.
That amendment is to the original motion, move that the Board of Trustees rescind its support and opposes the selection of Mauna Kea, Hawaii as the site of the proposed 30-meter telescope. So on the current amendment, it is to move that the Board of Trustees amend the original motion to include only rescind its support.
Yes. Call for the vote.
Aliyah, please, we need to hear the vote. Aliyah.
Aye.
Yes.
No.
What is the vote?
Well, now the original motion is amended, only say rescind. So you have to vote on that.
The outcome of that vote was.
Amendment passed.
Aliyah, everyone, please. This is serious business. Aliyah. You heard, So,
Ready for the discussion or vote?
Okay, we're open for discussion on the motion.
That was the amendment to the
Yes.
original motion. Now you have to vote on the original.
No, I'd like to call a 2-minute recess.